Okay, so let me ask you something. Do you remember that number? That specific salary number you had in your head a few years ago where you thought, if I could just make that much, all my money problems would disappear? Maybe it was $50,000. Maybe it was $80,000. Maybe it was six figures. Whatever that number was, you probably told yourself, once I hit that, I'll finally be able to save. I'll build an emergency fund. I'll start investing. I'll stop stressing about money every single month. Now here's the uncomfortable question. Are you making that number now? Or maybe you're even making more than that number. And are you still broke? Like, you got the raise. Maybe you got multiple raises. You're making way more money than you were 3 years ago. But somehow, your bank account looks almost exactly the same. You've got a nicer car now with a payment attached to it. You've upgraded your apartment or house. You're eating out more. You got subscriptions you don't even remember signing up for. And that emergency fund you were definitely going to build once you made more money? Yeah, it's either non-existent or it's got maybe a month's worth of expenses in it, if you're lucky. So what happened? How did you make $1,000, $2,000, maybe even $3,000 more per month, and somehow end up in the exact same financial position you were in before? That's what we're talking about today. My name is Matthew, and I spend way too much time thinking about why people who make good money are still living paycheck to paycheck. If you're someone who's gotten raise after raise over the years, but somehow can't figure out why your bank account looks basically the same as it did when you were making way less money, make sure to hit that subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up if this helps you out. Here's the thing. We have this belief in our heads that our money problems are income problems. I just need to make more money, and then I'll be fine. And look, I'm not going to sit here and tell you that income doesn't matter. Of course it does. If you're making $25,000 a year, you genuinely do have an income problem. But here's what most people don't realize. Somewhere around $50,000 to $60,000 a year, depending on where you live, your financial problems stop being primarily income problems and start being behavior problems. According to a 2023 study by the Federal Reserve, 37% of Americans making between $50,000 and $100,000 annually couldn't cover a $400 emergency expense without borrowing money or selling something. People making $75,000 a year can't come up with $400 cash. That's not an income problem. That's a where is your money going problem. The trap works like this. You get a raise. You feel good about yourself, and you should, but then your brain does this weird thing where it immediately recalibrates what you deserve based on your new income. You used to drive an older car, and it was fine, but now you deserve a nicer car. So you finance a newer one with a $450 monthly payment. You used to have a roommate or a smaller place, but now you get a bigger place. You used to pack lunch. Now you grab lunch out. That's $12 a day, 5 days a week, $240 a month. Here's the math on this, and it's going to hurt. That extra money per month after taxes from your raise, $450 goes to the new car payment, $600 goes to the rent, increased $240 goes to eating out for lunch, $110 goes to streaming services and premium subscriptions. Your entire raise is gone. But wait, there's more. You also now have higher car insurance. You're probably spending more on gas. You're furnishing that new place on credit. You're not just back where you started. You're actually worse off because now you have more fixed expenses that you can't easily reduce. Now you might be thinking, okay, Matthew, but some of those upgrades make sense. I should be able to enjoy my higher income, right? And look, yes, absolutely. But here's what's actually happening psychologically. And this is where it gets really interesting. There's this concept called lifestyle creep or lifestyle inflation. And it's based on something called a hedonic treadmill. Basically, humans are really good at adapting to positive changes in their life. That new car feels amazing for about 3 months. Then it's just your car. That new apartment is exciting for maybe 6 weeks. Then it's just where you live. But here's the kicker. Those expenses are permanent. The excitement is temporary, but the payment is permanent. A study from Princeton University found that emotional well-being rises with income up to about $75,000 annually, and then it basically plateaus. After that point, more money doesn't really make you happier unless you're doing something specific with it. But most people don't know this. So they keep chasing the next income level, thinking that's when they'll finally feel financially secure. And then they get to that level. Their expenses rise to match it, and they're still broke. It's wild. Here's another layer. Your peer group changes as your income rises. When you were making less, you were hanging out with other people making similar money. There was no pressure to spend beyond your means because everyone was in the same boat. But now you're around people making even more than you. And you don't know exactly what they make, but you see what they spend. You see the cars they drive, the vacations on Instagram, the restaurants they suggest. And your brain calculates, well, I make decent money now, so I should be able to do those things too. What you don't realize is that some of those people are also broke. They're just broke with nicer stuff. The Bureau of Labor Statistics found that as household income increases from $50,000 to $100,000, spending on wants versus needs increases by almost 85%. But here's what's crazy. Reported financial stress doesn't really decrease. People making $100,000 report almost the same levels of financial anxiety as people making $55,000. You know why? Because they're spending $95,000. The person making $55,000 is spending $52,000. Same stress, different numbers. Okay, look, let's get real specific here because I want you to see exactly how devastating this trap is over time. Let's take two people, both 28 years old, both getting a raise, about $1,400 more per month after taxes. Person A falls into the trap. They increase their lifestyle spending to match their new income. Their savings rate stays at basically zero. Person B makes a different choice. They increase their spending by about $400 a month, but they save the other $1,000 per month. They invest it in a simple S&P 500 index fund. Fast forward 10 years. They're both 38 now. Person A has maybe $5,000 saved up. They still feel broke because their spending has increased to match every raise. That car they bought, they've traded it in twice, rolling negative equity into new loans each time. Person B, they have $174,000 invested. $1,000 a month for 10 years at an average 8% annual return is $174,000. But here's where your mind should actually explode. If person B just leave that money alone and doesn't add another penny, by the time they're 65, that $174,000 becomes $1.86 million. That's the power of compound interest over 27 years. Person A at 65, still broke, still stressed, still working because they have to, same starting point, same income, completely different life. The only difference was a decision they made at 28. Now, I know what you're thinking. Matthew, this sounds miserable. So I should just never enjoy my money? No, that's not what I'm saying. Here's the shift. Stop spending money to feel rich. Start spending money to become rich. When you spend money to feel rich, you're buying stuff that signals you've made it. The nice car, the fancy apartment, the designer clothes. None of that actually builds wealth. It's just consumption that makes you feel temporarily successful. When you spend money to become rich, you're making purchases that either generate more income, reduce your expenses, or directly build your net worth. You're investing. You're paying off debt. You're buying quality items that last. Look, I'm not saying never enjoy your money. I'm saying be intentional. If you love nice dinners, great, budget for them. But don't also have the expensive car and the luxury apartment and the designer wardrobe and the nice dinners and the fancy vacations. You have to choose. The wealthiest people I know, actually wealthy, not just high income, they pick one or two things they really care about and spend freely on those. Everything else? They're shockingly frugal. I know a guy who makes $200,000 a year, drives a 2015 Toyota Camry, lives in a modest house, but he takes a $10,000 vacation every year because travel is what he values. He's a millionaire at 40. Compare that to someone making $120,000 who's trying to look wealthy in every area. They're stressed, in debt, and have maybe $20,000 saved. So, what do you actually do about this? Step 1. Calculate your lifestyle inflation. Look at your spending from when you made less money versus now. The difference is your lifestyle inflation. Step 2. Make a reverse budget. Decide what to do with money before you earn it. When you get your next raise, set up automatic transfers to savings on payday. Before you even see the money, save at least 50% of every raise. If you get $400 per month raise, increase your spending by $200, but save the other $200. Step 3. Audit your deserving expenses. Identify expenses you justified with, "I deserve this because I work hard." Be honest about whether they're truly worth it or just status purchases. That $600 per month luxury SUV lease, if you invested that money at 8% returns, it would be worth $733,000 in 30 years. Is driving a fancy car worth $750,000 to you? Step 4. Increase one expense at a time. When you get a raise, don't upgrade everything at once. Upgrade one thing every 6 to 12 months. Look, here's the bottom line. Making more money is great, but income is only half the equation. If you can't manage money well at one level, you won't manage it well at a higher level. You'll just be broke at a higher income. The good salary trap makes you feel like you're doing well, but you're on a treadmill. You're running faster, but not getting anywhere. The way out is to break the connection between earning more and spending more. Let your income go up while your spending stays relatively stable. That gap, that's where wealth is built. That's where financial security comes from. You don't need to make $200,000 to be wealthy. You need to spend less than you earn and invest the difference. Do that consistently, and you'll be in better financial shape than most people making twice your income. The choice is yours. You can keep chasing the next salary level, or you can get off the treadmill right now and start actually building wealth. If this video helped you, hit that like button. Subscribe if you want more content like this. And drop a comment. What's the one lifestyle expense you inflated after your last raise? And if you want to understand the flip side of this, how the system is actually designed to keep you trapped in this cycle, make sure you watch my video on the poor tax, why you pay more for everything without realizing it, after this one. I'll link it in the description. Because once you escape the good salary trap, you need to understand how to avoid all the hidden costs that are designed to pull you right back down. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next one.